So let's get into it. So on 3, well, it's so confusing because it's not on 3 anymore. Even
But
though
it's still on 3.
It's on 3, but it's not on 3.
It's Rivals rankings, but it's technically owned by On3.
Yeah.
Right?
So are
That's what
the
it is.
Rivals? Are the On3 scouts now work? They now work for Rivals.
I think it's like a. It's like a what do you call it? Combination.
Yeah.
I want to say.
So now we have one less recruiting site now to balance
Yeah.
rankings. It's back to what it was before On3.
One less recruiting site to hear Fravel be like, "Oh, this is so dumb. They got so and so as a 3-star."
This is great for Rivals because let's be honest, it became a point where it was On3 and 24/7 that nobody was using Rivals anymore. Let's be real. Nobody was using Rivals for the last few years, so this is big for them to kind of be relevant again, Yeah.
So obviously they only rank the top 300. Now I had some people complain because technically the guys that I listed as 5 stars are not technically 5 stars, but that's because On3 and or Rivals doesn't fill out all 32 of their 5-star spots until the end of the year because engagement. But anyway, so I gave them the 5-star because if the class ended today, if you're in the top 32, you're a 5-star. So based off of that, as of right now, if the class were to end today, Notre Dame has 4 5-star players in this
Ryan,
class.
sorry. Just to make sure, is this just the Rivals rankings?
Just Rivals.
Okay, cool.
Just Rivals, yeah. Well, so and just to reiterate, On3 bought Rivals, but these are On3's rankings, but they're labeled as Rivals rankings. Don't know why they did it that way, but it is what it is. Anyway, obviously Rodney Dunham moved up, but dropped at the same time. He moved up from the 12th overall player to 6th, dropped from the number 2 edge to the number 3 edge. One that I beat my chest about is Grayson McHugh, who had the biggest jump of any recruit in the Rivals 300, all the way from, I believe it was I want to say outside the top 200 to number 13 in the nation.
Can you zoom in, Ryan?
Yeah, I can. Which is absolutely crazy. What are your guys' thoughts on Dunham and Grayson? So it was just those two so far.
Yeah, I got a golden brick for all these rankings to go up. I know Ben doesn't care, but it's great to see. It's great to see Notre Dame recruiting well. And I mean, I saw Mike Singer post saying Notre Dame had 1 top 50 player last year, or it was 2 last year, 1 the year before, and having 6 combined in this class, top 50 players. That is insane. We probably have more top 50 players in this class than in the last 4 years, 5 years. It's insane. It really is. And I mean, Grayson moving up as much as he did is surprising, but I'm not saying I don't love it. I love it, but I knew he'd move up to a top 100 player. I didn't think top 20, right? I don't think anyone thought top 15. But it's funny because On3 or Rivals, they always typically, every year, there's just a Notre Dame offensive lineman that they're like, this guy's a 5-star, and that guy always ends up good, whether it's Wagner or Charles Jagasaw or, it's just – and other websites or other sites will have him as a 4-star, and then they're like, no, this guy's a 5-star talent. They end up good. So I definitely, for offensive linemen, like to use the On3 rankings. But this was a huge surprise. I mean, were you surprised, Ben, to see him move up 250 slots?
Yeah, let's just say this. When I read that, I swear to God, I thought that meant position or something else, or region, not even state, but region. I'm 13. I love it. I love that we have guys who are getting respect. I love it. I think he's really. I would say he's probably a top 50 player in the country. Definitely a top 10 offensive tackle. Definitely a top. I'd probably put him in the top 5 area of offensive tackle. It's just looking at the rankings, just because we see Dunham. Dunham dropped, didn't he? Wasn't he 5th?
So no, he moved up in overall ranking, but he dropped in edge ranking.
Okay, wait. Carter jumped in front of him.
Yeah, Carter Meadows jumped in front of him.
Okay, that's what it was. So that's where I'm more shocked on it, is that we have so many kids, and like, of course, this is like, who knows if when they actually do the 5 stars, if these kids will stay where they are. They obviously could. They obviously could not. But it's just weird looking at it, and we'll get more down the list, and I'll give my more reasons on it. Just seeing where he went, and then seeing where the other guys in his state went, who got put in different places. And maybe it's just rivals really likes him. Like we said it, he's a top athlete. He's got the intangibles. And the biggest thing is he just last year was for sure playing offensive tackle.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, that's a big thing.
And me and you and Ben talked about this. Like we talked about this on the show a couple weeks ago when he committed. Like we all thought if he was a class of 27 kid, no doubt 5-star potential. Right? Like we all agree.
Like our idea was like, okay, he's going to get if he was class 27, he get 2 more years of playing offensive tackle.
Yeah, but we did. I didn't personally think he'd end up. I said he had 5-star potential. I didn't think he would ever get that 5-star or get that close to like 5-star status. I thought maybe top 50, kind of like what you said, Ben. At the most, maybe top 50. But clearly, they saw enough of his first year at offensive tackle that they really see it with him. And we know what's wild is, and we'll get down the list here. I know a lot of people are going to throw a fit about Joey O'Brien's ranking.
Yeah, I was about to say Adams over O'Brien. That's really
what's crazy is that Joey O'Brien, according to Rivals, isn't even the best player on his team, his high school team. Like, let that sink in. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, LaSalle they better win a state championship if they got 2 5-star quality guys on their high school team. Like, but yeah, I mean, let's continue down the list. Ebenezer Iwatani, he's been in that top 30 for a while. I think this is the first time that Rivals has had him as a 5-star caliber player. I think Steve Wolfong said Notre Dame has the best edge duo. We're in the class in the nation, which is crazy and probably is true. And then obviously tight end Ian Premer, which was a big surprise just a couple weeks ago. 5-star tight end now. I thought maybe he could get a 5-star. I didn't necessarily know because tight end's kind of a weird position. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about Iwatani and Premer? Any thoughts?
Yeah, Premer, I don't know if he should be above Adams and O'Brien. I definitely think that positional-wise, he's definitely a top 3 tight end and definitely could be a top 26 player in the nation. I'm so high on Joey O'Brien that seeing him at 47 with Premer in front of him, I'm a little like I would swap them personally. Those are the 2 I would swap. But it's nice to see us get the respect that we deserve at the edge position. Ebenezer is super talented. I mean, you could probably. It's interesting because our defensive line group is set for the next few years. I viewed Ebenezer as a top 25 player, and I'm not shocked that he's already a top 20 player. I mean, when what was he before? Like 45, right?
He was like 30. So 30? He moved up 10 spots.
Yeah, it's deserved. He's super talented. What do you think, Ben?
I'm just looking. I saw Premer up there. I'm just trying to see who's in front of Premer. I know Bowman is. Oh, Harrison is. Oregon commit. Okay. The whole Premer is kind of like, I don't know. A lot of these is I don't know because I don't really know how Rivals decides it. Ebenezer, like Wolfong said, we possibly have the best edge rushing duo recruit wise. So that makes sense. Like I agree with that 100%, putting him in the top 30. Primer top 30, I'd understand. I don't know if he's worse than Henderson or Harrison Henderson. I don't want to mess up the kid's name. Harrison, Kendra Harrison. I don't know if he's underneath him, but if they want to do that, that's fine. I kind of feel like Bowman's the best, so anything underneath that, you're just working to get the Bowman. The thing that confuses the shit out of me, Joey O'Brien, the third worst out of all three of those Pennsylvania kids, out of Grayson, because we all remember it when it came to recruiting. We were sitting there thinking like, oh, we got Grayson, that's cool. We got the guy who Penn State was saying was their backup. If they didn't get a certain person. And then it's like, well, we still need to get O'Brien. And then we start talking like, oh, well, if we get O'Brien, we're probably going to get Kari Adams. So then we get both of them. It really felt like O'Brien was like crown jewel, especially after the on-7 or the OT7 tournament. I thought he'd be ranked. It's just so odd. I don't know how they decided it. Of course, these are rankings I've said before could truly care less about what they have ranked wise. They're showing their guys respect. If they like it, I like it. That's fine.
Well, and Rivals has been one of those sites, and I'll get Sean in here because I know Sean's got a lot to say about Joey O'Brien. Rivals has been one of the sites that's been little like not as high on Joey. That before this update, they had Joey, I want to say like at 99 or 100 exactly.
Yeah.
And so they just now moved him up into the top 50. Them and ESPN are the two that are kind of keeping him from consensus 5-star. 247 has two. Well, which I don't even know why
ESPN still does rankings.
Which I don't know why we even take account into ESPN. They shouldn't even get a say anymore because they are so heavily.
They don't care about their rankings anymore. They'll have a guy that's a 5-star talent, and he'll be like the 238th ranked player. Like,
yeah, it's very weird. But yeah, I mean, it's so crazy to think, like you said, Ben, Joey O'Brien's not even out of the not three Pennsylvania, because Kari's from the DMV area. Out of the three guys that we got that were considered like the huge big recruitments for that 1 week, Joey's the third best according to Rivals, which I just don't get. If you watched him at all during his senior or his junior year, and then you watched him at OT7, like he looked like a man amongst the boys. And I get it, it's 7-on-7, but I mean, dude, he's a 6'6" safety who can play receiver and can play corner. It's just wild that you don't have. But then again, and I've talked about this with some other college football fans. You look at where Joey's ranked, and then you look at where other 5-star guys are, like Jet Washington. Jet Washington's ranked number 66, and he's a consensus 5-star everywhere else. Like,
see, and that's I'm looking through the rankings right now, just Notre Dame's rankings in a whole.
Yeah.
Thomas Davis Jr. is in the top 300 on Rivals, or is at least popping up top 300. Braden Robinson is in top 300. Tiki's not in top 300, but when it comes to like industry, they're 4-star athletes.
Yeah.
That's where I'm just getting. That's where it's just I'm seeing it. I'm like, or even Noah Grubb's industry is a 4-star athlete.
Definitely, because they take the average of all of them, and even if On3 has them outside their top 300 as a 3-star, other sites having them as a 4-star bump them up for the industry rankings.
Yeah, well, it's just crazy because like Thomas Davis Sr. I mean, when we got him, that was a big get. We were like, this is huge. We didn't let Georgia take one of our biggest defensive players, or defensive front 7 players. Of course, secondary it's different, but the front 7 players, and then Rivals is just not putting him at all in the top 300.
Well, and Thomas Davis Jr. has been he committed back in January during the playoff run.
Mm-hmm.
When he committed, he was like a top 150 recruit.
Yeah, some recruits when they commit, they just stop going to camps. They stop doing.
And he's just been slowly dropping ever since then.
They fall, right?
Yeah.
Which is
also they have Jonah Walton above Javion Osborne. I don't agree with that, but
they have Bubba Frazier above Devin Fitzgerald.
Yeah. Sorry, let's get into any problems with Kari's ranking. I think that's pretty fair. I don't think he really moved
That's great ranking.
all that much. Yeah, I think he's right there on 5-star status. Kadon Finley, he moved up 5 spots. He's still the 14th receiver in the class. I think he's a top 100 guy, but I'm not gonna really get bent out of shape over 9 spots. I think he's obviously clearly the best receiver we have in the class. Any thoughts on Kadon? Any thoughts on Jones? I know you guys brought up Walton.
Yeah, I think that Finley should be top 100. But 9 spots, you're close enough, right? You're there. And then Walton being 120. What was he before?
He's kind of stayed around that range. I think he's been like a top 150
That's
kid.
fine. I see him as a top 10 running back, but top 100 players tough. But I definitely see him as a very good prospect. I like the ranking. He could be 150, and I still agree around there. But I think he's anywhere from 100 to 150, and I'm good with that range.
Ben?
My big thing is just Walton. I don't know if he's better than Osborne. The Kadon thing, I'm not upset about 9 because realistically, and like if they're within 10 points of something, it's just off of people's personal opinions and what they see it as, not off of really anything that they could prove. Yeah, that's really my big thing is just Walton better than Osborne. I think they're both top 10 running backs without a doubt. I just don't know. I like Osborne more as a prospect.
And I think
a lot of people thought Kedron Young was better than Anais Williams.
I still think. Never mind. That's a topic for another day.
Bringing it up.
Anyway, that's a topic for another day.
Kendrick Young's not catching that pass on the sideline.
So with the running backs, like I think Walton and Osborne are like 1A and 1B. To me, obviously, I don't think Osborne is or Osborne or Walton. Neither one of them are Jeremiah Love, right? Like they're not a clear-cut best running back in college football right now, right? Like that's what Jeremiah Love. He was a top 5 running back. He was a top 50 recruit out of high school. But the way the play styles that they play, like I see a baby Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love combo. With that being Walton being Price, Osborne being Love.
Yeah.
And so I'm not too mad with I think they're both top 10 running backs. I would probably have Osborne slightly ahead of Walton. But again, I think with running backs, it's weird because Walton is the 120 overall player, but he's the number 6 running back. So I feel like with that position, it's more like the position rank more than the national rank.
Same with quarterback.
I was going to say, realistically, the running backs this year on Rivals, they really don't. Besides for Hyder, I'm not going to attempt to say that name. Besides for him, they don't really have anyone ranked that high. They have one other 5-star. Well, they have one other guy who's ranked that would be ranked as a 5-star. The rest, it really drops off. You don't see that a lot. Usually, your top 6 running back is usually in the top 100, maybe top 80.
Yeah. I do think one thing I thought was interesting is Chasten Smith. He skyrocketed up the rankings. That was another guy that I remember when he first committed, because he's from SEC country, and he kind of committed out of the blue. And it was one of those, the early cycle Notre Dame commitments where it's a surprise. The staff didn't really know about it. And you kind of expect him to flip, right? Well, that hasn't been the case. Chasten has been one of the biggest recruiters in this class. And it's crazy to me because I don't think he gets talked about a lot by the fans. I feel like we just kind of forgot about him because we have Kari Adams, Joey O'Brien, Nick Reddish just committed. this, like, Justin Smith is a really good corner in his own right. And I don't think enough people are talking about that.
Watch
You
him
guys-
be the best in the class, like a Leonard Moore. I mean,
Oh, that was
Yeah.
yeah, that would be that. Well, who was the best corner in Leonard Moore's
Moore's
class? It
class?
wasn't Moore. Well, it wasn't Moore, was it?
No,
Hobbs?
it wasn't. What, that was 2023?
No,
2024?
24.
Hobbs.
Yeah, it was Hobbs.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Let's see. Aiden Pouncey, I feel like that's another guy that doesn't get really talked about enough.
Yeah.
Go along with Joey O'Brien and that safety duo. I like where he's ranked. I think he's a top 150 player. I'm not going to complain too much about the two spots. Gregory Patrick, love seeing him finally get some. He was a 3-star, and now he's up finally like a consensus 4-star. Really like that. He's the Michigan State legacy.
He's the only one that moved up from 3 to 4, correct?
Yes. No. Frizel.
Yeah.
Frizel jumped from 3 to a 4.
That's Tyler Eifert.
Which, Ben, you did say when the show, it was a couple shows ago when Frizel committed, you did say he was going to end up being a 4-star, just based off of his offers.
I said based off of 1 to 3 things. 1, I really didn't want us to not have a 4-star tight end. I didn't think we were gonna get Primer. 2, looking at his offers, those are 4-star offers. Those are schools that realistically recruit top tight ends and they find top tight ends. And 3, looking at his highlights, he was really good. There was if these recruiting sites want to be actually true to what the stars mean, he's a top 300 player.
Ben Nichols getting love too is great.
Yeah,
I think he's definitely a top 250 player. He's 283, so I mean, I definitely like the Ben Nichols as a top 300 player.
Yeah, and getting back to the Frizel thing, I remember when I posted the graphic of him getting a prediction log to go to Notre Dame, and this was at the time. This was
your fans to start crapping on him and saying he's terrible.
This was right before. This was right before. This was I think it was right before the OV weekend. So this was before all the predictions went in. This was when a certain somebody in the Notre Dame fan base, who we still not speak about, said we were not getting another commitment ever again. This was around that time, and I posted graphic saying Notre Dame's going to land a 3-star tight end, and it blew up because everybody's like, "Oh no, 3-star you! Oh, what are we going to do with the 3-star tight end? He's trash. He's blah 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 blah. This is this Notre Dame standard." And I literally said, "Look at his offers. Watch the film." Here we are, a month later. He's committed and he's a 4-star top 300 player. People just need to chill out with the stars and stuff. It seriously does not matter. And when Ben says, my favorite thing Ben talks about at times, offers over stars, it means something, because when Iowa, Notre Dame, and Miami, the 3 teams that are known as tight end U, are your top 3, and they all want you, that screams 4-star tight end.
And that's one thing I don't think people really understand, and I'll be quiet on the stars after this. That these are made. I'm not trying to crap on the profession, because these guys work hard to get the stuff out and make good reports, but it's based off of opinions made by people who aren't the ones submitting these offers to these kids, or the ones who are currently coaching in college football. It's made off of the opinions of people on these websites that have their own, how they do their own thing, and they might be right. They could be right. At the time, Frizel might have been only a 3-star athlete in their own mind, and they might be right. He might never even be better than a 3-star athlete. He might, but we need to just calm down. It's not the end of the world if someone's a 3-star, because schools see these kids and they know how good they actually are. Go ahead, Sean.
I think that in terms of stars, I think they're important to have, especially for a fan base to see, because hypothetically, if they showed you without rankings and without stars, yes, you could see the offers, but if they're here are the 25 Notre Dame commits that are signing, and you didn't know what they were ranked or what star, you get more excited when you see a guy like a Michael Mayer being a 5-star tight end coming in, and then he plays right away, and you're like, wow, this guy's great. So I love the stars for that reason. I think stars don't matter on an individual basis. Stars matter on a class basis. You don't want a class full of 3 stars, right? The teams that excel have a good blue chip ratio. I think a blue chip ratio matters, but individuals being 3 stars, the Ian Books, the Leonard Moores, the Joe Alts, doesn't matter if they're a 3 or 4 star. It doesn't, because it just depends on what happens when they get on campus. But a pure class, I do think having a good blue chip ratio matters, because you see the difference in talent with blue chip ratio teams.
Unless you're a USC
I do.
fan. I got told by a USC fan. I got told by a USC fan last night that having more commits in your class means your class is better. So
when you burn down the whole program and try to rebuild it, yeah, I guess you just bring every player you want. But I wish we went back to the time, like if you guys remember the Michael Orr movie Blindside, those kids back then, like that wasn't that long ago. That was maybe 18 years, 20 years ago. I don't know. Nick Saban was still at LSU. But those kids, they sent in their film, and then one dude critiqued it, and that was like known for like understanding football and understanding how to rank these kids high. If it's some of them were going to invite to certain like games, and then you'd be able to actually compare the players off of how well they played. Like you would see a matchup, for example, like Kari Adams versus Kadon Finley, and you'd be like, wow, Kadon Finley balled out, and he balled out against the guy who this guy has ranked in his top 50. So maybe Kadon Finley is pretty good.
Yeah. I think too, like when you think of like the sending in the tape and the viewing of talent, I think that I forgot what I was going to say, so let's just continue. Yeah.
I was going to say,
it's like with the different sites, it's like a podcast. Everyone can create a podcast. They gotta make podcast shit more expensive.
Yeah. Hey, I will say this. Is there anybody, if there's a recruit that you think should be in the top 300, like if you had to pick one, because I believe there's 7, maybe, 7, or there might be a little more that are not in the top 300. If there's one recruit that you think should be on this list, who would it be?
Fitzgerald, without a doubt. Fitzgerald. Also, I remember I was going to say sending in tapes that I wish it was more like that when teams evaluated, and remembering that most of the highest paid players are in the NFL are 2 to 0 stars. That's what I was going to say. But yeah, Fitzgerald. I think that dude is a 4-star talent. I think he's a top 150 talent. I don't like him not being in the top 300. Well, I mean, I think Ben agrees. He said that he's arguably his favorite wide receiver in this class. So
yeah, I think Fitzgerald, and if not Fitzgerald, probably Thomas Davis Sr. I don't know why, or Junior. God dang it! I keep saying the wrong.
Senior's dad.
Thomas Davis Jr. Yeah, too many juniors and seniors in this world. Dang it! Name your kid something different.
It's Thomas Davis freshman here soon.
Freshman. There you go. But yeah, I think it's insane to me he's not in the top 300, because you watch the film, you're going to sit there and tell me he's not a top 300 athlete? That's insane.
Yeah.
And maybe, and like, I don't see another, we don't see another linebacker on here, so maybe it has to do with that. Maybe they're just not going to respect our linebackers because piss us off today or something. I don't really know. And yeah, Georgia won him.
They're like, we gave them defensive line and offensive line. Let's just leave the linebacker. We don't want to get them too excited.
Yeah. I'll say this, and this is one that I'm surprised nobody mentioned. Tyler Merrill. When he committed, he was a top 100 guy. Now, he committed kind of early too, around the same time of the playoff run. And he's one of those guys that I don't believe went to a lot of camps afterwards. I could be wrong on that. But he's a guy that, to me, he was the best offensive lineman in our class for a long time. Him being a 3-star is absolutely criminal. Is absolutely criminal. And I think another guy you could make an argument for is Braden Robinson. Just for the pure fact of, like, how many guys in the 2026 class have 10.7 100-meter dash speed?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. He's got to be top 5 fastest player in the class, at least. So, outside of those two guys, I think, obviously, I agree, Fitzgerald. I think you can make an argument for Sullivan Garvin as well, the other offensive lineman.